Music! I love doing that. It's so cool. Hey, I'm Michael Edward, creator of How to Crush Your Mental Blocks, which is a course that teaches you how to identify and remove the mental blocks that's keeping you stuck, stopping you from reaching your level of success. Hey, my friend, it is Michael Edward, and we are now in, can you believe this, episode 27 of the Michael Edward Show? I think that's really great. I'm really proud of that fact. Hope you've been enjoying it. All right, so this week I want to talk about change your mood by changing your thoughts. All right, so your thoughts change your mood. Right? We know this now, and I think at the end of this session you'll see why we know this, and I'm going to give you some tips along the way. All right, on changing your mood. See, when when your mood is not great, you are not productive. You can't reach your highest level of success if you're glummy all the time, angry all the time, even to a lesser degree. All right. Now, I'm not talking you have to be on cloud 9 all of the time. I'm not saying that you have to be zzz, you know, and I spend a lot of time in the zzz area, but you don't need to be there. But you do need to feel good, and you do need to feel clear-minded and happier rather than unhappy. All right, and with that comes a great deal of productivity, comes a much happier life, much more satisfying life. All right, and so I'm just going to jump right in here. Point number 1 is your thoughts dictate your mood. All right, and when you probably know my story by now, but when I was going to lose everything, including my family, I was not in a good spot. I was not in a very good place at all, and I was very, very depressed. I was very sad. I was, I missed my kids tremendously, and so the family split up, and I was going to lose my home, and I did. I lost everything that I held dear, including my family. We split up, and they went their way, and I went mine, and so it was a real hard time for me. And the kids are older now, of course. We see each other and so on. That's great. But when I was in that headspace of feeling bad all the time, I was suicidal. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to, I was angry at work. I was, it was just a really bad time. And I knew that if I didn't change my thoughts from how much I missed what I had and what I was about to go through, then I was going to end it. I was going to be gone. And so I knew that was one of the things I had to do. So I did start by controlling my thoughts, because I'd done a lot of study prior to this in the personal development area, and I knew that my thoughts dictated my mood, okay? And that is one of the better things that you can do to start getting beyond any kind of depression and so forth. But even just the daily stuff, you need to control your thoughts to improve your mood, all right? And, so sort of, if you want to write this quote down, it's thoughts dictate my feelings. So my thoughts dictate my feelings, all right? And where people go hard here is where they go down the wrong direction, is they follow the wrong path mentally. Mentally, see, there's a strong connection. When you feel bad, if you think about what your thoughts were prior to that, like just a moment prior to that. I'm not talking about last week. I'm talking about what you're thinking. If you do a self-check right now, and you say, wow, I don't feel very happy right now. And you think, well, what was I just thinking? And you'll find the connection, all right? So what people do far too often is they chase the wrong path. They let their mind wander down bad times and blow it out of proportion, make it even worse than it really was, and that's when you really start to feel even worse, all right? And the key here is, takeaway here is just to practice connecting your thoughts with your feelings. All right? So multiple times a day, just think for a minute and say, how do I feel right now and what am I thinking? Start making that connection. And when you start making that connection and you start to realize what I'm saying is absolutely the truth, then you can start to focus on changing your thoughts in order to make you feel better. All right? And I'll give you some tips along the way. Don't worry about it. And number 2 is your physiology dictates how you feel. All right? And it dictates your emotions. It dictates how you feel. And when you, before I sit down and do this video, I do a few things. Because generally speaking, before I record the video, I've just spent a lot of time writing out my notes. I've already done the research and everything. I'm writing out my notes, and now I've just added to the Michael Edward Studio a little braille writing device so I can braille out some notes, because I was spending too much time memorizing. It was sort of a point of pride to me. I've done about, 50 videos with no notes whatsoever, but it was taking me a lot of time. Anyway, that's what's on my leg here, and that's what you see my finger. I've got like 2 words on a line. not much, because I'm not much of a braille reader. But anyway, with your physiology, when I sit down and record a video, one of the things that I do is I sit in this chair for a minute, and it invokes a lot of things in me, right? It helps me get energized because I've set up triggers for that. You want to look and subscribe to the YouTube video and look up the video on triggers. That'll help you. And I need to change from sitting sedentary at my desk to having more enthusiasm, more energy, more ability to speak with more enthusiasm and so forth. Okay? And sometimes I do some little mini squats. I just do not deep knee bends, but shallow knee bends, and do a little bit of breathing and all this kind of stuff to get the body moving and prepare to have more energy for this segment of my day. All right? And when you figure it out that your movements can dictate, your physiology can dictate how you feel, you just made a really big breakthrough. All right? So how you sit, how you move, how you walk, how you stand. And you know what I'm talking about. If you look at people around you and you see that they're not in a good mood, obviously, and they're kind of slumped down and their heads down and they're, and all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm talking about. You need to change that. Okay? And when the saying here, of course, is change your physiology to affect your psychology, right? Change your physiology to change your psychology. Either way you want to write that down, but write that down, okay? And the challenge here is that we can often look at somebody else, and we can often see how they feel through their particular body, their physiology, right? And what we don't do is we don't link it to ourselves, right? Go walk by the mirror and say, I feel great. And look at yourself in that mirror. You're standing straight. You're standing tall. You're standing proud, right? You're going, right? And look at the mirror when you're not feeling so great. Grab your phone and take a picture of yourself and say, man, I don't feel so good. I'm going to take a picture and see what Mike's talking about. And you're going to find that, yeah, Michael knows what he's talking about. I did not look straight. I did not look tall. I looked sad. I wasn't smiling at all. I mean, just smile. That's right there. That's magical, right? When you smile, things happen. And so you need to link your body with your feeling and how well you're feeling, okay? And the big thing that you can do just to start off is just straighten up, right? Just straighten up, hold your head up high, and if you start practicing that throughout the day, you're going to notice a difference already. So that's just a nice little starting point. Is just straighten up, right? Don't slouch. Don't walk like, you know, you're some broken down person, because you're not, right? Number 3 is one of my favorites. I love this one. I pull this out very often. I call it pocket full of happies. Number 3, pocket full of happies. And when I'm feeling lousy, I'm already smiling because I know the story I'm going to tell you. When I'm feeling kind of lousy, I break this story out. And by a pocket full of happies, what I'm talking about here is have a mental pocket full of funny stuff that happened, loving moments that happened. Think about this. Write them down so that you know what they are before you need them. Okay? And when you have this pocket full of happies, you reach in that pocket and you pull one out. Could be a picture that you remember in your mind. Could be a little clip that you remember, just a happy memory. And one that I use often is when one of my sons was a baby. I was holding him in front of me on the kitchen table. Right, we were about the same height. He was just a little guy. I had to hold him, and and all of a sudden he just started leaning forward, and I let him, and he put his little hands on either side of my head and planted a baby kiss on me. And I held it for a second, and then one of us started to laugh. I don't know which one of us, and then the other one of us started to laugh, and it was a moment that I will never forget. It was just so funny, so loving. You know, it was just such a sweet, sweet moment that I can't really describe, but you can tell by my smile on my face that it works for me every time. All right, so you need to have a pocket full of happies. I have others, but that's one of my favorite ones. All right, and when you think about it, sort of the metaphor here is happy thoughts, happy mind. All right, and when you have the happy mind, of course, everything goes with it. Happy thoughts, happy mind. And I think where people get stuck here is they always say, Michael, that's a great idea. I love that idea. Man, I'm going to have me a pocket. But they don't remember to pull them out. All right? They don't remember to use them when they're feeling lousy, or to any degree. I mean, I'm not talking about the big lousy. I'm talking about any time you need a lift, that's it. All right? So you want to try to remember to use these things that I'm teaching you. And one of the ways to prepare, as I sort of mentioned it already, is prepare by just writing down some happy things that happen, right? Write down to fill your pocket. And you can carry that paper around with you if you need to for a little while, but really you shouldn't have to, because they're your memories, they're your triggers, they're your thoughts, right? They're your life. And when you do that, when you write them down, instantly you'll have a pocket full, and then you just need to remember to pull them out when you need it. All right? And the number 4 I talk about is the alarm, right? We have this built-in alarm that we don't even know about. A lot of people don't even recognize this, and I came across it quite by accident myself. And what it is that when you bump your arm or bump your leg or stub your toe or whatever, if you instantly think, beyond the ouch, think, what was I just thinking? What was I just feeling like? And I can almost guarantee every single time you weren't feeling too great. All right? And here is the connection. The connection is this. When you feel lousy, then something lousy is going to help keep you in that feeling. All right? Now, I'm blind, can't see, I run into crap all the time, but I don't hurt myself all the time. Most of the time when I bump into something, like I might walk through the studio doorway and just barely bump my shoulder. I'm not talking about that. That doesn't do anything to me. It doesn't bother me in any way, shape, or form. But when I bang my arm hard enough to annoy me, right? When it annoys me, then that's bringing me into that feeling that I'm already at, right? So if I'm thinking of stuff that annoy me, if I'm thinking about something that happened in my past that hurt me or pissed me off or annoyed me, then that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to bang my arm. Why? Not enough to cut and bleeding and everything, although I've been there, but but just enough to piss me off again, right? And sort of the metaphor here is annoy to help trigger me to look at my feelings, all right? So annoy me to trigger me is what I'm saying here. So when you bump your arm and it annoys you, then think instantly, right now, think about what it is that you were just thinking that got you into that feeling. Now that you recognize that there's something bothering you, or you're going down that, that negative bunny trail of thought, now you can change it, right? You can change it into your pocket full of happies and instantly change how you feel, okay? Instantly change how you feel. And when you do bump your arm and things like that, don't just brush it off, okay? This is the challenge that people have is how often do we bump our elbow getting out of the car? Not every time, but now and then. And when you're getting out of the car or whatever, you stub your toe or whatever, don't just, curse and brush it off. Say, how do I feel right now? That's the habit that you want to get into, right? And you want to do this. Again, your step here, your takeaway here is every time you bang your arm, you bang your knee, you bang whatever, you bump your head, anything like that, instantly go back and check and see how you were feeling. Now, I didn't want to really go down this road too far. My notes are done. Chuck that aside. But, but I just want to touch on one other aspect of physiology. Physiology is made up of not only how we move and our posture and so on, but it also, of course, is what we consume. And when you consume a high sugar diet, a high flour diet, a lot of alcohol, drugs, be it prescription, over the counter, or illegal, it also changes your physiology. Right? Now, I'm not saying run out and ditch your, prescription medication. You may need those. I don't know. But I'm not talking about doing any of that stuff. I just want you to be aware that that also may be impacting how you feel. All right? So you may need to, you do definitely need to look at your diet and see whether or not it serves you or it is detrimental to you. Yeah, I know. They say eat some sugar and you get a sugar rush and you're like bouncing off the walls and everything. Right, but right after that, you're gone. So you need to think about that. And flour, by the way, is converted to sugar in the body. That's why I pick on flour so much. Dairy has its whole other problems. But nonetheless, is you want to clean up the diet. You want to watch what you drink. Go with water most of the time. Cut back your sugar. Sugar in liquid is about the strongest, worst form we can have our sugar in. So if you have a lot of sugar in your tea and coffee, if you drink a lot of pop, you really need to start cutting that back. And again, when you do start doing that, you may go through some withdrawal, but after you get through the withdrawal part, you're going to notice that your physiology is much stronger. You will feel better. All right, so I just wanted to add that in there. I really wasn't going to touch on it too much, but that's why it wasn't in my notes. But nonetheless, I did. All right, because I'm here to serve you as best I can. All right. Now, I'm going to close it off here, and I just want to say this. I want you to go out there and enjoy every day. Love as much as you can, and succeed. Hey, if you enjoyed the video, please like it, share it, click on that subscribe button, click on that bell icon to adjust your notifications so you'll never miss another video from me again. In the description, there's links including mepersonaldevelopment.com where we help you reach your highest level of success.